All right, you are live.
Hey guys, it's your girl Sunny D. Welcome to tonight's show, guys. Y'all want to say hi?
What up,
What's
though?
going on? What's going on, good people?
Yeah, we got a great show lined up for y'all tonight. If you're watching right now, you're either on YouTube or Facebook. If you're catching the playback, you're probably checking it out everywhere: Facebook, YouTube, our website. If you're hearing the audio, you're on Google Play Music, iTunes, what is iHeartRadio. I'm trying to remember. You're supposed to have the line going across really fire. Stitcher, Blog Talk Radio. I said that already, and
Yeah, I'm
Spotify,
texting her. I'm
SoundCloud, of
texting her.
course. Yeah, so you'll catch us on the playback. Then, if you want to join in tonight, you hit the live up and let us know you want to join. We'll tag you in to join in on the conversation. And of course, I think most of us got on merch, so cop
Oh
some
yeah,
merch.
no
Go
doubt.
to teespring.com/stores/GFT Radio and cop some merch. We rocking our wear. Let us know and post up on our IG page or hit us up and let us know. We'll post you up and shout you out for rocking our merch. Everything that you give us, the proceeds support everything that we're doing. So it's money in all this, guys. Everything costs. So we got to spend money. If you support, that's where your money goes to make sure that we're progressing and doing what we got to do and continue doing what we do. So
No doubt.
you know. But the topic came up. Who came up with the topic?
Uh, I think I might have, you know, I guess we lately over the past few months, there's been a lot of talk about the protesting, social injustices. That's been a rage at at a time or what have you. But in the midst of all of that, a lot has been a lot of violence within our own communities has been exploding. And we just had the article. I know y'all seen the article where five little kids, five black children
Mm-hmm.
were murdered over a weekend across America, and it was like, it's like, come on, man, like what are we doing? And then today, I posted on my IG, Mano from Brooklyn. He had made a video complaining about a 1-year-old getting killed. Somebody running up, shooting, and killing the 1-year-old baby. It's like,
Oh, wow.
it's like, what are we doing? It's like it's very counterproductive. And then that's why a lot of people had that conversation, and some people be getting mad when people be like, Black Lives Matter. Well, and then other people be like, Black lives gotta matter to black people too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
Yep.
I mean? Some people get mad at that statement, be like, well, one thing got nothing to do with the other. But if we want to be honest, if we're gonna have a truthful conversation, they both go hand in hand.
Right.
You know what I mean? They both go hand in hand. So we can't be out here killing each other or killing happen in our communities, and we're not standing up and not saying nothing. But then as soon as the cops do something, we want to get all angry. You know what I mean? Like we can't have our cake and eat it too. We can't have it both ways. We can't have it both ways. You know what I mean? Like we have to take care of our own. We have to protect our own.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? And then once we're able to do that, then we can protect ourselves from the outer, you know what I mean, the outer threats.
External forces.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the phrase I wanted to use.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? But until we deal with what's internal, like we're gonna always lose that fight to them because we're not even prepared to fight because we're too busy fighting ourselves.
Right.
Nah, I mean, so that's what made me want to talk about. It's like, what do we do? What solutions do we have? You know what I mean? Because we got a lot of questions. We got the complaints. Just like how we tired of symbolic gestures from white people and the government. It's like I'm tired of symbolic gestures coming from the hood. I'm tired of peace rallies. I'm tired of the you know what I mean, the visuals and all that type of stuff. Like let's really stop killing each other. You know,
Right.
like,
Right. Yeah, I mean the statements about Black Lives Matter versus us caring about Black Lives Matter as an outcry for police brutality, against police brutality and anti-racism, being in direct conflict with all the crime in the inner city, all the crime across Black communities and things of that nature. And like you've mentioned, time and time again, Clint, that Black on Black crime being a media driven fallacy, but it's still one of those things that people like to bring up, right? So there's nuances to this that make it an argument that people like to use against the collective protesting and things of that nature. I'm one of those people who do stand by we do have to still maintain that these are two separate situations, two separate issues. But I definitely agree that it's an issue that still needs to be addressed. It's an issue that can't be ignored. It's an issue that has to be constantly denounced. I think that the challenge of neighborhood and community crime versus police brutality and systemic racism is that you know your enemy is a particular group and a particular system, and that they if they respected you enough that the things that they do, the negative effect, the negative impact they can have on you can be stopped, right? And the biggest thing is that you have, in particular with the police, is that you have a system built around protecting their own and non-accountability, right? And I think that people who look at community crime and inner city crime, they look at it as a side effect, right? It's not a root cause, it's a side effect. So they look at it like, we don't have activities for kids to do, so they get involved in gangs. We don't have good, or ample job opportunities, so people get involved in additional crime. We don't have, community programs for X, Y, Z, so people, they don't know where to put their energies. So you end up with this side effect of additional crime, side effect of things, of gang violence and things like that. So I think that's the difference there that makes it frustrating, because that but you guess that if people had something else to do, somewhere else to go, other activities to take their energy and their time out on, you could reduce crime, versus, a system that's built around, hiding truth, not holding people accountable to their actions, not having proper training, or just, all in out bullying the neighborhood because you're police officers, things of that nature. It's a kind of a different frustration.
Yeah, I think that too. Like, with the difference between what's going on in inner city crime and or Black on Black crime, if we're going to call it that, is with the police thing, or those who are in positions of authority. When they do things, you have people that are actually telling on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're either getting caught, videoed, or something's happening, or their own camera is watching, is showing us what's happening.
Yeah,
what
happening. Yep.
Whereas in the city, somebody could get shot. Like, just recently, these two kids got shot. I'm pretty sure people saw who shot them. Ain't nobody about to say shit. So that's more, and I think that's not necessarily more of the problem, but it's a part of the problem, because we don't have people that have pride within themselves or within their communities to get the bad people out, or get the people that are doing these crimes out. It's just a well-known thing of not snitching, because retaliation can happen and things like that. So it's a kind of a catch-22, but then at the same time, we have to love ourselves enough. It's like we want white people and then all those and the police to accept us and not kill us. We have to have that same pride in ourselves to protect ourselves, and not killing each other. Stop. And that's a part of the problem. It's a lot of jealousy. It's a lot of different things going on within, and that's not just the Black community. It's just all communities. So, but for us specifically, because we're studying Black Lives Matter, but at the same time we're just taking each other out left and right. It's like, at what point do we care enough to love each other and not do things? Like, I think there's always going to be crime, but just the senseless killing is crazy.
Well, in a way, I don't see it as not loving ourselves enough, because I think some of the issue is the retaliation part. It's the being what's the word, when being harassed if you which I don't believe in the whole snitching thing. If you're not involved and you decide that, or not decide, but you see something happen, you decide to make that call, that's not snitching. And that's, I don't understand that whole mindset that people call it snitching when you're not even involved. Like, snitching is when you're involved, you're part of the problem, and you decide to save your own skin, so you snitch on the people that you are involved with in the crimes. But people who are dropping tips and giving information that they've seen stuff, I think their concern or their fear is the retaliation or the harassment of telling when something happens. I've seen it even in my own community where people have been either attacked or even killed for giving up information on crimes that have been committed in their community.
See, true. My point is, my point of view is the mentality.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the mentality of the hood. It's like, it's so perverse at this at this point in time. It's like, poverty going to breed crime.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that black on black, you're right, the black on black thing don't exist. Black on black crime don't exist. It's more so location, vicinity, and poverty. You feel me? That's why we kill each other. That's why those numbers are like that. But we also have to admit it's a certain mentality that's within our community at this point in time that's really super violent.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? To where it's shoot, kill first. You know what I mean? There's no conflict resolution, and then it's all off emotion. That's why little kids are getting killed. Like, people don't care. You feel me? It's like they're trying to prove a point. Like they don't value life at all.
Right.
We don't value life. So it's like you're shooting in the areas where little kids are at, killing little kids. Like, why our kids can't be outside and play?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, like, to me, before, you know what I mean, and Sonny, you said a word earlier the word or acceptance from the police. I don't care about being accepted.
But I didn't mean that, but
I mean, like,
not killed.
Yeah, or just to be prosecuted properly, like we would if we commit a crime. You feel me?
Exactly.
Or hold them to a higher standard because they supposed to be the ones protecting and serving and upholding the law. So they should be held to a higher
jury and executioner all in one shot. So.
Right. Exactly. But you know what I mean? It seemed like with us in our community, we don't have no conflict resolution. We don't want to talk it out. We feel like it's weak. It's weak to have a conversation. Now, I mean, everything has to resort to violence. Everything, you know what I mean? Even people have to learn how to. It's one thing to want a conversation. You have to actually learn how to have a conversation. Like, you can talk to somebody all day, and it's just like you got to be able to have a conversation and have them hear it.
Right.
Yeah, because most people don't talk to understand or listen to understand. They're just waiting to speak. So to speak. So, like, now, I mean, everybody just want to get their point across. Yeah. So it's no communication, it's no common ground. People don't want to find common ground with each other no more. Right. Everything is you know what I mean? And then it's like ego. You know what I mean? We say black community, and we talked about this before. It's like, how are we really a community? You feel me? Because we don't really act like it. We don't act like it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because we always talk about buy black. You know, communities stick together. Communities spend their money and use their resources and pour their resources together. Yeah. You feel me? In the hood, it's not too much together. It's not too much pulling. You know what I mean? You have factions, you have certain people within the hood doing that, but like as a whole, we're not together. We're not together.
Yeah, and that goes along with an article I was just reading that talked about collective efficacy and social cohesion. So what social cohesion and collective efficacy is basically how communities work together to drive better outcomes in their community for community activities, for keeping the community, you know, up and healthy, as well as for driving down crime. So like collective efficacy is basically where is it at? Residents take responsibility for their neighborhoods and engage in crime control. The social or the collective efficacy portion of it is where you have individuals in the community that, you know, push the narrative for safer streets, push a narrative for better community activities, and they basically, you know, they are the ones who are, you know, and usually you see it with the older people in the neighborhood. They're the ones to kind of keep the control over the behaviors of everybody in the neighborhood. And then the social cohesion portion is just everybody's, you know, willingness to work together. You know, like you was just talking about, is that, and that's what we need to learn how to, or we need to make a strategy for increasing in our communities. As you can see here in this article, it was talking about how some neighborhoods, you know, where residents come and go, so who have, you know, high transiency, that they have lower levels of collective efficacy and social cohesion, mainly because you just don't develop that trust. You know what I mean? So when you don't develop that trust in people that you're around, you end up with the inability to keep that control, right? To keep that control of how people act and work together in the community. Jim Animal just pointed out, we don't have communities, we have hoods and blocks at this point, right? And that's the thing, is that when you build up that's you know, collective efficacy, you create community, because then like everybody has a common goal, common focus, then you create a community atmosphere. You know what I mean? You know, the research that this article was coming from was talking about how, you know, older residents were perceived more collective efficacy and social cohesion than younger residents. And that's mainly because most of the time when you're older, you either just more mature, but also you may have, you know, a longer standing in the neighborhood. You may have deeper roots in the neighborhood. So you take more responsibility for your surroundings because you have a greater stake in it. When you're younger, you don't have that greater stake. Income assistance is talking about how income assistance, people who are using income assistance may have a perceived lower level of collective efficacy, but you know, sometimes that's depending on the way the community is structured. You know, we've seen, especially here in Detroit, when public housing was dilapidated, when it was poorly ran, when it was poorly managed, that collective efficacy was very low. That cohesion was very low because people were more out for self, because they felt like the community the community management wasn't taking care of them, so they had to do for themselves anyway. But once they were taken out of those communities and moved into better communities that had been just recently built, the management was better. You know, the streets were cleaner. The homes were more well maintained, mainly because they were freshly built, but also they actually had superintendents that would come in and take care of issues. The collective efficacy increased, and they were able to work together. They actually have community parks, community gardens, and things of that nature. So they're actually working together as a community. They have more, of a stake, not only more of a stake, but they also have more pride in their community. You know what I mean? And I think that stems from local governments, local community leaders being able to make that investment in the communities to bring up that social efficacy, so that way or that collective efficacy, so that way people will be more willing to work together because they know they have something to really work for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. And what's the name of this article again?
This is from let me see, what was the name of this thing? So this came from the Justice and Security Strategies. It's a report submitted to the U.S. Department of Justice. I'll post the link, and it was from some type of grant program where they were talking about ways to improve, communities for not only crime, for other things as well. And this was tools for community involvement in crime control.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. So I'll definitely post this link in here.
Yeah, I think I definitely. That's one thing I do notice, in a lot of these neighborhoods, and like the brother Jim just said, hoods and blocks. There's a lot of people come and go now. You feel me? So a lot of people aren't really invested in the neighborhood, and you feel me? So they don't really care. They don't care about the past. They don't care. They're just trying to get through the day and just get by and get over. So some people. And when you have a lot of renters in the neighborhood, like I'm in the process of trying to get my credit right and get everything right because I want to buy me a house.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I'm renting a house and my landlord, he doesn't even live in this. You know what I mean? So it's like he really doesn't have, he can get me out of here, even though he doesn't have a stake in it. You know what I mean? I'm telling him, he owned the house, but I'm telling him about the neighborhood. He don't know nothing about the neighborhood.
Right.
You know what I mean? He don't know nothing about the historical sites. You know what I mean? You feel me? So it's like, it's backwards. That's backwards. And part of that is my fault. But if more of us were homeowners, like back in the day, you know what I mean? I think a lot would change in the hood because, like you said, we'll be more passionate about what's going on.
Right.
You know what I mean? We'll be way more passionate about what's going on. Even in my neighborhood right now, they're doing something. The community center, there be people coming around, they taking surveys because they want to build certain things. I even posted the IG when the governor, Phil Murphy, was literally 100 yards away from my house doing a press conference.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
You feel me? So, they're trying to do some things in my neighborhood, but, a lot of people don't care. It's to the point to where the communication between the local government and the citizens isn't really there either. And I think that causes a problem, that disconnect between leadership of the local government and the residents. That disconnect sometimes breeds a lot of strife or what have you that goes on in our communities too, because like Sonny most people don't vote in Trent. In my city, like when we vote for mayor, this city probably got 100,000 people, 4,000 voted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, if that.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
So a lot of them don't. If you have conversations, they don't.
When you got that disconnect between the people
and
the people who run the city, You know what I mean?
And that's the most important time to vote is when you're voting for city officials, when you're voting for community government.
I think the synopsis is most of them feel like don't nobody care. Like, because sometimes you get the politicians that barely come out into the neighborhoods.
Okay.
And have conversations with people. Like, yeah, you'll see it at the end of the election, but like during it, you don't really see folks. Not necessarily all of them. It depends on who's the candidate. I will say that. It depends on who's the candidate.
Here's my thing about that though, Sonny. I feel like at some point the responsibility must fall on the residents.
No, absolutely, and I agree with you. But at the same time, if you want somebody,
most residents don't even seek or search to know who's running. You feel me?
Right.
Like it ain't always on the candidate, because I know
I'm not saying it's always on them either. I'm just saying I think that's part of the reason as to why they not necessarily. I'm not gonna say part of the reason why they don't vote. It's a part of it's more the part of the reason that they don't know who to vote for. So it's like, why vote? Because they don't like I agree. They don't look up for themselves. They don't research. They don't pay attention to that. They only care about popular names. Once you hear a person's name so much, they popular. You might vote for them because you don't care about, you're not paying attention to nothing else they got going on. Only that they're the trend popular person for that particular moment. And I would never say that it's on a candidate to make people want to vote for them. But I think it's a balance of the two. People have to educate themselves, but I also think that candidates, because I've seen it where you don't know who's running unless you're either following it from the gate on your own or stuff like that. Like, you barely hear anything until you start seeing signs come up.
But that's the point, though. That's the point. We should be following it. We should know what's going on. We shouldn't wait for this perfect candidate. We should demand a good candidate. When we're active, when as a whole, when more of us are active in it, it's going to breed better candidates. That's just how it is. It's like the citizens can't just wait for the government to improve. We have to improve as well.
Government, exactly.
Yeah, know what I mean? Like, so, like my thing is, it falls on us.
But there is a place where you can have where you can bring that balance along, and that's in community organizations that have active citizens, politically active citizens who will push the narrative of voter education, issues, pushing issues on driving the causes for the candidates to back or to reject, things like that, and then they kind of filter that information down to the community to try to get the community more involved, or at least to get the community more educated, and not more involved per se, but more educated. And I think that's where you can have some balance. But again, that takes the community, to your point, Clint, is that it takes the community to come to, someone in the community or a group in the community to push that, to drive that activity. Even recognizing that there's that disconnect and that shortcoming of the community is important for community leaders to recognize and for them to try to address, because the more you can get people involved in that process and getting people educated and understanding why it's important to vote, why it's important to get the right candidates in, is because they need to be able to drive things such as school programs, community-based programs, educational opportunities for their kids. I'm sure out of those 100,000, a large majority probably have children or are children in that population. So there's a lot that's at stake that, it becomes a community issue. That's the only way. I mean, really, all of our issues will stem from things that need to be done in the community as the community. We can't, to your point, it can't be us waiting on the government, because the government either don't care or they don't have the resources to figure it out. One thing that, again, this going back to this article, what it was talking about was some of the most important ways to improve crime prevention, but also to drive anything else in terms of community activism and activity. Is one of the biggest things is the problem solving, right? And where you have to analyze how people are working, how they're living, what they need, what they're lacking, and then what what issues this is causing. You know what I mean? So if you know that your community is lacking resources for after school programs, right? Let's just say, for example, and then now you know that you have an increased gang activity in the youth, then you know that if you can get, little league baseball, scouting, after school music programs and art programs, XYZ, you will bring some of that youth back, and as well as curb some of the new youth that are coming up into those programs, so that way they have something else to do other than gang banging.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot for us in our. I mean, they still have some programs, and we have new programs that are within the city of Trenton. I think that a lot of our issues within Trenton is a lot of the programs that we have aren't publicized as certain programs. So we all know about the Boys and Girls Club. We all know about the YMCA and CYO, but those are just 3 organizations that have after school programs. There's other smaller programs that are for our kids, and you don't know about them. I know my daughter, the college program she's in is attached to our college within the city of Trenton, and they go out to the schools and talk to the kids about their different programs to get them college ready. They have a middle school program that once you get out of that, when you go into the high school program, and I think it's like an in between program as well. And then they do have another program called College Bound, but it's just that these programs are not polarized or publicized, that like it's always word of mouth.
And that's the thing.
This program was free.
But that's the thing is if you see or recognize that there's that issue, and other people are noticing that that's an issue, that may be one of the first things they need to address is how do we make that program well publicized? How do we get the activity increased by bringing the information directly to the parents or to the students, so that way that information is in their hands or in their heads. We had that same issue with the college program over here near us, where it wasn't well publicized. We made the suggestion to them, we get a lot of our information about these programs from our kids getting it in the schools. Why don't you just go to the schools and give the information to the kids? They hadn't even thought of that for some reason, but once they started doing that, they started going into the schools. All they literally did was make it part of information packet. They did do presentations in certain schools, and all of a sudden they had waiting lists. You know what I mean? So it's a matter of understanding where the problem is and then addressing it. That's part of that problem solving, is understanding what you're doing wrong, so that way you can improve your outcomes.
Yeah, because I know about it because I used to work for it. But even like to your point, they were in the schools. But it's, how kids are, teenagers. Half of them don't bring papers home.
Yeah,
I'm like, y'all need to
once again, you have to learn what environment you're in, right? If you know,
so I talk to them about
you're trying to attract teenagers, you don't go to the teenagers, you go to the parents.
Yeah, and that's why I talk to, especially it's a college program. It's not like they're going to be sitting in summertime just living their best life. They're actually in class like they're in school. So what kid wants to sign up for that? No kid, not too many. And so I know they have a Facebook page. I said, you guys need to start posting it and sharing it amongst people, because I told 3 friends about it, because I'm like, yeah, my daughter goes to this program. What program? It's a college program. You pay for it? No. Like, it's to help her get into college. And it's a good program, and it prepares them for college, and it was a good program. But like I said, and it's like, I know we grew up on Weed and Seed and all these different programs that we had when we were kids, and a lot of these programs aren't here anymore. There are new programs in place, but I think because they're just starting out, people feel a little sketchy about it. Sad to say, some of these are Black-owned businesses, so some people feel away. Like, I know about 2 people that opened up brand new daycares, and they're always posting it. And I'm like, yeah, they got slots, and I tell people about them too. But it's just us supporting our own,
Right.
and getting the knowledge about these programs that benefit our kids that are within our communities.
Right. Go ahead, Clint.
All right, I hear like the programs and all that. Like
I think
all
that's a
that.
good way to get them off the streets.
Yeah, but what about the family program?
Definitely, that's a definite.
The household program.
No, that's definitely.
And I think that's where we got to
Some
start.
people in the household ain't right.
Yeah, I think that's where we got to start. How we to raising, like the brother said, we're not a community, but we got to start raising our kids and raising our own like a community again. You know what I mean? It's to the point to where you can see kids outside. You know, some of us will still say something if we see kids doing wrong, doing something they're supposed to. You know what I mean? But for the most part,
you can't do that no more.
What I mean? It's see no evil, hear no evil.
Right.
Most people ain't going to say nothing for the simple fact they know if they say something to this child go back, say something to their mother or their father. 9 times out of 10,
it's gonna be harassment and retaliation, right?
Yeah, and acting like a fool, and not even going to think twice about realizing
what the hell is going on.
My kid maybe was wrong. You know what I mean? My kid was in the wrong. My kid was doing wrong. So now, let me go check that instead of just, oh, you said something to my kid. Don't say nothing to my kid. You know what I mean?
They had kids out here shooting fireworks at each other, running in the street, all crazy. Get them, and you know the mom and you like, get the hell out the goddamn street, and then you're like, oh shit, I gotta argue. Like if they go to their parent, I gotta go smack their parent up because I'm trying to save their child from getting. Like my street is people ride down my street like they don't give a fuck about their life, their cars, nothing. They like they going somewhere. It's a fucking stop. It's a fucking light at the end of the street, but they running down here like they going somewhere, and they gonna end up stopping anyway. Like that's how fast the cars are. I get scared when my son plays sometimes because the cars come riding by so fast. I think that they're gonna lose control or something's gonna happen. And to see somebody's kid run down the street shooting fireworks, not paying attention, well, yeah, I yell at their asses. But I also understood, like Clint said, somebody gonna probably tell their mom gonna come around here just with a just looking raggedy as hell with a scarf on her head, some slides that got furry things on it, talking about why you yell at my child? Do you want to go to a funeral or not?
And it's basically because, you know, so many of us come from broken homes.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we don't know what raising a family really is, or raising, you know what I mean? And to be honest, a lot of times it's kids raising kids.
That's what I was about to say. A lot of it is children, you know, babies raising babies.
Yeah, you feel me? So they ain't fully mature yet. So now somebody immature raising an immature child, and that cycle is just, that cycle is killing us. The cycle is killing us. Like, you know, we always talk about being emotionally intelligent. It's so many of us experience so much trauma at a young age. You feel me? Like we don't really got time to develop.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're in defense mode at such a young age. You know what I mean? You don't got time to develop those prerequisite skills of proper communication and you know what I mean? Just how to go about business properly. You feel me? Everything is all off anger. You know what I mean? Everybody is angry. Everybody is angry. You know what I mean? Over something. And a lot of stuff, you know what I mean, it be of their own creation because of how they deal with things.
Right.
You know what I mean? How they react to things. You feel me? People, you know, because I've been a victim of that. I've done it to myself, so I know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm who I'm talking about. You feel me? So like, I can't nobody tell me that everybody ain't. I've experienced. I'm around them. I talk to them. I'm angry with them. Right. You feel me? It's just at some point, is how you channel that anger. You feel me? You're gonna be destructive or constructive.
No doubt.
And too many of us are destructive.
Yeah.
Too many of us are destructive. You know what I mean? And we ain't just You know what I mean? It's one thing if you just self-destruction, but you destroying innocent people.
Like take like go out in the corner where nobody else is at and shoot each other. Don't be out here in these neighborhoods killing these babies.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or go to Iraq and go shoot some.
And then we talked about before.
Go to the military, go shoot.
It's no trust.
Right, no trust. Yeah, that's that social cohesion.
No trust.
Yeah.
It is no trust. Like nah, man. You know, it was one day. You know, I'm walking and I see these dudes hanging together. I'm like, yo, he shot at him before.
Wow.
You feel me? Them two fought before. He threatened to kill. Y'all all hanging around each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They probably was hanging.
Nah.
Probably how they got into it the first time.
And I'm like, nah. Like, how? Like, I can't be amongst that dysfunction. Like, that's dysfunction.
Like, that's like you be around people that be like, oh well, like they be with friends and they done did hurtful shit to each other, and it's like, oh, we still friends.
Yeah, I mean, that's again,
like, not even
how
they're
raised.
Like real
right?
shit.
Because when you're raised in dysfunction like that, you accept dysfunction like that. And you know, when you was talking about broken homes earlier, Clint, you know, I was thinking about how I for the most part know a lot of people that weren't in broken homes. They had their mother and their father there.
Some people just
and you know, or if they were in a broken home, it was only because not even really a broken home. If they were in a single parent home, it was only because maybe a parent died. So it was but it was just the environment and the people they were raised around. You know what I mean? Where they still were being raised by babies, still being raised by people who were too young to learn any better. And then they weren't taught right by their parents, or if they were, you know, they didn't pick up on that and carry that into their own families. And you watch them still repeat the same patterns. You know what I'm saying? And then, like you said, this lack of trust or this lack of working, you know, willingness to work together with other people in the community, it's a mind state, right? You know, it's when we talk about, you know, having pride in your community, having pride in yourself, and these people are lacking both of those. You know, they don't respect themselves, and you have to figure out a way of either encouraging people to, if nothing else, respect others around you. You know, it's one thing to try to get people to respect themselves, but you know, it's another thing to just say, hey, look, respect other people around you. You know, there's other people that have to live here, they have to work here, they have to, you know, be able to have their children here. Respect that, you know, and I think that's the lack of that is one of the biggest problems that we have in a lot of these communities that needs to be changed. You know, one thing that I know has always been kind of like an easy fix is usually, you know, when there's newer things, but that can't, you know, that doesn't always work because there's not always funding for that, right? You know what I mean? You know, it's one thing to say, well, if we had a new grocery store and all these dilapidated buildings were torn down or remodeled, you know, everything will be all right. And it's like, yeah, but a lot of these cities, they don't have the funding or the resources to put it. Should they have it? It would be nice. It would be great. You know, that again falls back down to, you know, how your community is managed and how your local government is managed, which falls back to who you voted for, right? You know, but a lot of people don't understand that, and they need to be educated on that. That's
how we talk about these school districts and all that, and we not voting nobody. We getting these crappy ass people that they keep changing in the middle of the school year. You keep getting new people in charge, and everybody you got to catch up and figure out the last person's decision. So the problems never get fixed. They get more and more.
Right.
Out of here.
Yeah. People have to take pride enough to, but also be educated to understand what the ramifications of that is, right? You know, so I mean, I know that a lot of the issues can be fixed. Isn't easy, no, but it just takes that effort and that willingness to get the community together. And one thing, you know, this article was mentioning, and I read another article. I forgot to write the link down or copy the link down. But I was reading another article that spoke to the issue of just getting not only the volunteerism, but just getting the organizing of things like community activism going.
We haven't had block parties like that in a long time.
Block clubs, stuff like that. You know, I got a friend that actually is a block club leader, and basically the block club membership is her mom, and one other neighbor out of a block of about 20 or 30 people, you know, because getting other people involved has been very challenging, you know, almost futile with some of the residents who definitely don't take pride in their own homes, let alone having respect for others around them. So it's, you know, it's always that challenge of trying to get people involved. You know what I mean? Yeah. And some of it is kind of what you pointed out, Sonny, was that lack of caring or that lack of, you know, effort on the part of others in the community. So it results in that low participation.
I think another thing that we could possibly potentially do. I remember growing up, we had a lot of block parties. Like I grew up in a neighborhood where the 1, 2, 3, probably 4 streets around me, we always did something. Yeah. Always.
See, my neighborhood do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these streets lined up. There's always block parties. You feel me? There's always block parties. Sometimes something happens, sometimes it don't. But they, you know what I mean, for the most part, you know what I mean, they always cool. Like we always have block parties out here. One thing I was going to say is we started celebrating negative behavior and you know what I mean, downplaying education.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You feel me? Like we started celebrating negative behavior and our, you feel me? And then we talked about this before in our music. You know, I fought against that for a long time. I used to argue with people that for a long time. I had to finally concede that like a lot of this music has negative impact on our community. You know what I mean? It's just fact. It's just a fact. You feel me? You can't deny it. You know what I mean? And we celebrated that. We celebrated talking about killing each other, talking about how cool it is to kill somebody and killing each other. You know what I mean? We celebrated that. You feel me? We made that gangster shit, all that thug shit, all that was cool. It was the females loved it and all that until they really have to deal with the consequences of living with that. We celebrated that. You feel me? And as far as education goes, that's not celebrated enough. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or our scholars, or our, you know what I mean, young scholars in the neighborhood, the ones that's intelligent, like we don't celebrate them enough. You know what I mean? Like graduation pics and all that shit, like that's cool. You know what I mean? But celebrate the journey too. We celebrate everybody else's journey.
Right.
You know what I mean? Why we don't celebrate the kids' journey all the way through that? Don't just celebrate, you know what I mean, at the end when it's over, graduation, that's it. We just so happy they graduated. Like, nah, you feel me? Continue that education. Education don't stop in school.
Right.
You feel me? You know what I mean? Like, preach that. You know what I mean? But we don't do that. We don't do that. You feel me? We don't tell kids we need more engineers, which we do. We need more doctors, which we do. You know what I mean? Ladies, y'all smart enough to be doctors. All y'all ain't got to be nurses. Right? You know what I mean? Or medical assistants. You know what I mean? Y'all smart enough to be A1 doctors. Top-notch doctors. You know what I mean? Don't short yourself. You feel me? My little brother was just asking me, because he just graduated this year. You know what I mean? From high school. He, you know, I mean, he working, but he's still like, bro, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do with this. I was like, bro, you could do anything.
Right.
I said, at your age right now, your options are limitless. Right. You feel me? You got time to start something for a couple years and be like, you know what? Nah. And then switch and do something else and not miss a beat. Exactly. That's how young you are. You feel me? Like you still got time, bro. You could go be a pilot right now.
Right.
You feel me? You're not even thinking like that, but you can.
Right.
Know what I mean? You could go learn to be a pilot right now.
Well, and that's the thing. We have to encourage, especially our Black youth, to aim for opportunities and for careers that are in their minds out of reach, you know, and things that they don't really think about. You know what I mean? Like you mentioned being a pilot. You know, you don't hear that a lot from people saying you can be a pilot. or you can be a like you said, be an engineer, or even speaking to specific courses like being a mechanical engineer, being an architect, being, you know what I mean? There's so many opportunities out there that children are missing because they don't understand what their opportunities are. You know, they may see, like you said, they may see somebody on the block that's, oh, you know, this person is a doctor, but you know, they went through a lot of school and paid a lot of money, so you know, I may not be able to do that. And it's like, no, don't think about that. Don't think about that part. Think about what you can do, what you can excel at. You know, be all you can be, regardless of what the obstacles are, regardless of what the challenges are, because you can overcome those challenges. They had to do the same thing. You know, pointing out, I think, things that are not once I was about to say unnatural, not unnatural, but unusual or not the norm. I think is most important, because you know, I think we get so caught up in that cycle of entertainment and sports that we put so much effort and energy into entertainment and sport. And not to say anything is wrong with that when it comes to a kid that may excel. You know, I mean, we see it all the time. Kids that are, you know, serious about, you know, certain sports and certain activities, and they excel at, and that's great to push them to do that. But the thing is that if we can also take and nurture, like you say, engineers and lawyers and architects and politicians, you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, encouraging community
judges, all that
community leadership, because I mean that can be a job. I mean, not to say that you're going to make millions of dollars doing it, because you won't, but you can be an effective community leader and turn that into a great political career. You know, whatever the case may be, it's great to put that into kids' minds, plant those seeds, because a lot of times they don't realize that that's an opportunity. Project management. I mean, there's so many opportunities that are not pushed to kids because it's just not the popular thing, or it's not the $1 million dream. You know what I'm saying? I think that's one of the things where we fall short.
Exactly, I agree. And plus, we can't forget the trades. You could be doing stuff, other
trades,
stuff.
Yes.
Building like wood, furniture, like people that make furniture. You know how much money people spend on furniture.
Mm-hmm.
And like those different types of things. Whether your thing is
being an electrician, being a plumber.
Yeah, electrician, definitely a good one to be.
Mm-hmm.
IT work is another thing for you to do. Like when you go to, and it's funny because when I went to one of my jobs, we had to go to our IT offices, and we learned like the back end, the testing software and stuff like that, and just make sure it works and does what we needed to do and stuff like that. And when you go to places like that, you see the normal people you normally go see. A couple of Indian people, few white people. It's gonna be probably some Asian people mixed in there. We don't see a lot of us. Like it's some there, but we don't see a lot of us.
Right.
So when you go into fields like that, and we see doctors, we can tell you what doctor we've seen. Not that many black doctors. I mean, seen some. I had one as an OBGYN at one point before he retired, but it's different professions that people can do, especially when you don't see people of color in those positions. It should make you more. If that's something you want to do, it should push you more to do that, because you want to see people like that look just like you doing something positive with themselves and not the normal stuff that everybody's used to. You know.
Well, you know, one thing I think people also need to keep in mind and try to push more is to realize that certain hobbies and certain pastimes can be careers, or they can be businesses. You know, encouraging kids to have multiple hobbies, multiple pastimes and activities that they can do will increase their visibility into certain careers and into certain businesses that they could, you know, potentially get involved in. And I think that that's important as well, because a lot of times, you know, people, like Clay was saying about his brother, they get to an age where they're on their, you know, they're out of school. They have that opportunity to go and do something, but they don't know what to do, or they don't know where their passion is yet. You know, so it's important to encourage, you know, just like he was saying, encourage people to encourage those kids to explore and to experiment with different types of careers and different types of fields, so that way they can find what really, touches them, or recognizing that something that they enjoyed as a pastime could be a career, or it could be, to tell the truth,
I taught my daughter that all the
high
time.
school, I was actually studying for chemistry. I was in chemical engineering, and I was going to go to college for chemical engineering. The only thing that saved me from that was that I had gotten so burnt out on chemistry in high school that I decided I didn't really want to do that in college, and I didn't really enjoy or love it, to end up going into it as a career. And this computer thing was just a hobby. It literally was just a hobby. At that time, it was, more or less a hobby. A lot of people could see that in the future, computers and technology was going to be the thing, but it was still new. And, when I went to school and decided to do computer science, there wasn't a lot of classes at that time for progressing into a career in computer science, but there was just enough to get my feet wet, get me understanding things more along the lines of other technologies that I needed to know about, other types of hardware I needed to get familiar with, and then that kind of progressed the things that I had already learned on my own, and it gave me that renewed love for it. So, that's why I think that, pushing that idea to them that, hey, you can be a business owner and you can take, your crocheting that you do and sell your crochet stuff, or you can take this, whatever this activity that you like to do and turn that into a career because, it translates into this, that's important. That's important.
Word up. I've been encouraging my daughter, to find a hobby, something like she really enjoyed doing. You know what I mean? And I told her you could turn that hobby, whatever you enjoy doing, you could turn that into a business. You know what I mean? Future, you know what I mean, in the future. Or always explore new things. Keep an open mind. I don't want to confine her to a particular way of thinking.
Right.
You know what I mean? That we you should only be thinking about doing this. Nah, you can do whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Just make sure you want to do it and commit to it. You know what I mean? You could become anything you want to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you don't have to. Like I said, and I told my brother a pilot because I knew, like, he not thinking like that.
Right.
You feel me? So I wanted him to think like, bro, no, you really can be a pilot. Mm-hmm. If you want to, you know what I mean? Like, ain't nothing stopping, ain't nothing physically stopping you. You got the age, you a perfect candidate for them. You know what I mean? If you want to be an engineer, shoot. If you wanted to be a mechanic and run your own car shop. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to do. Like, I think too many of us in our community think athletics and entertainment.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. We get caught up in that. You know what I mean? We got to be an athlete, NBA, football, something, track and field. You know what I mean? You got to be an athlete. You got to be a rapper. Got to be a singer.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, nah, you can be anything that you want to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, don't limit yourself to those, you know what I mean, pipe dreams. You know what I mean? Because everybody ain't going to be a successful musician. You can be a musician. You feel me? To the day you die. That don't mean you're going to be a money-making musician.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's only a select few. I mean, you think about it, you can probably count on your hand, how many people have superstardom in each of the genres, right? So you definitely have to keep in mind that it's best to have a backup plan.
You feel me? You know what I mean? So like that's one of the things that I think would, education and expanding our thinking within the community about what we're capable of.
Right.
You know what I mean? Our job capabilities, or you know what I mean? Like, and everybody don't have to be, excuse me. You don't need formal education, not for everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, let's be clear, formal education is not for everybody. I really do believe they need to bring a lot of those vocational skills back. and everything.
Right. Mm-hmm. No doubt. No doubt. Yeah. All right. It's almost 11 o'clock. Just a reminder to everybody that's online, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel, and definitely like and share the video to others out there. So we're going to get into our after show. I mean, we can keep talking about this too, but we normally get into our after show after 11 p.m.
Can I just say that that I don't know if y'all heard. I know we talked about Jada and them last week, but did y'all hear the song now that's stuck in my head?
Talking about the None Your Business song?
No, the Entanglement song that they made.
Oh, yeah.
I was a little upset only because like now you normally when they do these little dance clips, they had Will Smith either doing one of his dances or him and Ashley doing that, and that would have been dope as hell to have him just a compilation of him dancing to the entanglement.
Oh my Lord.
Because like I just felt like they should be petty and add Will Smith in it because I've been singing that song since the day I heard it. It's very terrible. The internet won that one.
Yeah. The internet's always undefeated, always.
So now me and Willie got to do the video.
right.
On TikTok, we gotta do the video.
So that was one thing.
It's now on TikTok.
Well, that was the one thing I wanted to talk about was TikTok. So I don't know if a lot of people have heard yet, but TikTok. Well, first things first is TikTok is a product of a Chinese company called ByteDance or Byte something. Anyway, they're facing banishment in certain countries, including the U.S. So India's already banned TikTok. Funniest thing I found out today is that TikTok is banned in China. They actually use a different app called Douyin, which is similar to TikTok, except for it's not international. It's only for Chinese users, and it's directly censored by the Chinese government. So the Chinese government has a hand in the content that's allowed.
For their porn, they make me mad with that. But go ahead.
On the app. So, but in terms of the TikTok app itself, there's talk of the United States also joining in the ban of TikTok. I think there's like 60 or 70 million subscribers in the US alone. There's like had to be close to a billion, little over a billion users worldwide. Well, it was until 660 million fell off in India, got dropped. So basically, what are people going to do without TikTok? I think that's the question.
Well, didn't they say they were scamming people for their information or something like that?
That's the concern. Is that TikTok, being that it's a Chinese company, they're under Chinese law, and in part of that law is that any information that the Chinese government wants to basically not subpoena, because they don't have to subpoena anything, but basically request, they would be allowed to request that data. Now, TikTok as a company has stated that they have controls in place to try to limit, if any data can be extracted, but basically try to limit what would be available if something like that was to happen. But they also claim that that's never happened. The only problem is that they're also it's a known thing that Chinese, anti-Chinese or anti-governmental content on TikTok has been removed at the request of the Chinese government. So because it appears that the Chinese government does have their hand in that content, a lot of these countries such as Canada, the UK, India, and the US are concerned that our data could be compromised and extracted by the Chinese government.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So already the DoD has made it clear that no work phone should have TikTok on them. I had a list of things that have already been banned. Here it is over here. I'm gonna pull it over so I don't look like I'm looking off into space while I'm talking to y'all. But yeah, so TikTok is already, like I said, it's already banned in China and in India. Here it is. So any government, I'm sorry, all government agencies in the U.S. Banned TikTok from work phones. At first, it was just DoD. Now it's all government agencies. Wells Fargo have told their employees to remove the app from their devices. Amazon initially told their employees to remove it from their devices, but then they backtracked. But the president is considering. The president. Do we have a president? I don't know. Anyway. The administration has been considering banning TikTok and other Chinese apps because of the fear of leaked information from U.S. citizens going to the Chinese government. So that's definitely.
I stopped my daughter. My daughter was on TikTok a lot. I took it off the phone. You feel me? I haven't been using it. So since all this, I think I'm gonna log back into it just to permanently delete my page off of that, all her videos or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Know what I mean? Because that's the same thing. It's sort of like that's what Facebook. That's what they're trying to do to Facebook too. They're trying to regulate Facebook. They're trying to get Mark Zuckerberg out of here. Know what I mean? Because all them data leaks, man, like that's crazy, man.
Crazy. The data leak situation, I think, that's a catch-22 because it's a lot of it is from hackers and things like that could be from government-ran agencies, Chinese government mostly, but then you do have other actors that are in other international countries that are just basically doing it for the money, to extract data so they can sell it on the dark web and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of factors to that, but then that all comes down to to advanced internet security, to privacy protections, not collecting certain data, not collecting certain information, so that when information is extracted, it's not a lot of PII in there, so that's important. And that's one of the problems that Facebook has faced, is that a lot of that information that they collect from us is, personally identifiable information, and it creates this perfect storm for identity theft.
Yeah, because now they got you where sometimes you have to, when you create profiles or whatever, they want you to verify that it's actually you, and you can't really use, like, sometimes they try to prohibit you from using like fake names or not necessarily your name type of situation. So if you ever get locked out of your account, you got to verify it. Like, that's what happened to me when they locked me out of my main account. Somebody said that my main account was a fraud. I had to prove that it was me.
All right.
So you're talking about sending them a picture of your ID, like all this stupid stuff, just so I wouldn't get locked out of my own account that I created.
Right.
It's ridiculous. They require so much information, and that's why and TikTok still asking me for my phone number. I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, Yahoo still be asking me for my phone number too. I'll be like, nah, y'all good off all that information.
Yeah, and sometimes Facebook asks to verify, like, no, y'all don't need that.
You feel me? Y'all get super basic information out of me.
Y'all get Google Voice information. You call Google Voice.
Right. Well, Google Voice is my real phone number. So
I wonder. I'm glad we're talking about this, because Willie, that's where I'm thinking about aiming towards. My focus, cybersecurity.
Oh, okay.
Because remember I was telling you that's where I was.
Right.
I didn't know which field I wanted to like focus in on,
right,
lock in on, whether it was programming or networks or what have you. But I tend to want to and then when I was looking into the cybersecurity joint, it's like it's different avenues within that.
It is. Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? So it's like I'm gonna figure it out, but that's where
Yeah. Yeah, I've gotten into some cybersecurity myself, only in the realm of messaging hygiene and email security, physical security, as well as network security. So creating bubbles, and so basically, like you said, there's several different areas that you can definitely focus in on, and that's the one thing a lot of people don't realize when it comes to IT. It's when you say IT, that's so broad. I mean, it's extremely broad when it comes to the hundreds and hundreds of different types of jobs and things that you can do within IT. And then, even when you drop it down to something like saying a system administrator or an engineer or a network engineer or, cybersecurity or, network security. So there's all these different parts, to that big wheel. And then, the little pieces that you can jump into or multiple. When I was at my last job, I was an email admin, but I also was a project owner. So I did project leadership over an IT project. So I was an IT project leader. And then I was also like I said, doing the email security and hygiene. So basically spam, phishing, stuff like that when people were, sending emails. So it became a matter of learning all those different areas and then kind of bringing that together into one job. It was, nothing that they had kind of created. I just kind of created that myself. So that's another great thing about certain jobs or certain careers, rather, is that you can sometimes create your own lane for you to be in, you know what I'm saying, depending on the needs of the company, and kind of make it your own. And you don't have to fit in a box, you know what I'm saying? Some people do. Some people choose to focus on one small piece of it. But some people like me, I like to have multiple things going on. So then that way, become an expert at multiple things. So then that way, not only am I more marketable, but it also it's more fun.
That's why I applied for the position I just applied for at my job, because it's a job I've done both of. I did both of them, so I have experience and I know my crap. So likelihood of me is beneficial. It's beneficial to me because why hire somebody new? You got somebody already here that knows how we do it,
right?
And I know both sides of it, so you don't have to train me.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta make yourself. That's what is my AC always says. She wants to make us more I forget her wording, but basically she wants us to be so invested in ourselves that if we were to leave that job, we can go wherever because we know so much of it.
Right.
Like we're not just stuck on it. I just know this. I know nothing else. Now I know this, and this. And the plus side for me working in HR for as long as I've been, I worked on almost every part of HR except for 2 parts.
Oh, okay. No doubt.
So if I got the opportunity to go to one, I definitely would do that. Other one, I don't know. That's a little bit cutthroat. that's a part of HR. No, nobody likes, because when you tell somebody they fired, then they got to go.
Oh yeah.
Out with security. That's not what I want to do. But
no, you ain't about that fire in life.
No, I don't like people. I'm mean, but I'm mean in my own right. But
right.
I don't want to be that mean because I already got to hear. Not that I'm. That sounds bad. I already hear enough of employees issues with the job I do currently.
Okay.
That's somebody losing their job. I don't have time for that. Like by the time I'm done with you whatever you did to me pissed me off. You going out the door. I ain't got to see you when you go.
But that's another field that you don't hear a lot about, especially in the Black community, is being HR, being a human resources manager, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's
the goal. They keep saying, "Oh, we can see you be a manager." I don't want to be a manager because nobody will they don't like me now. You want me to run the captain of the ship at some point in my time? Nobody would like me.
Yeah, I've been a manager in a couple organizations, and a couple of times, a couple times I was young. You know what I mean? Like when you were young and you in that position, or I'm telling you, that's a whole different type of
power.
Different type of stage you get. nah, that's a whole different type of shade you get from people. Because, you know what I mean? The first shade is like, you feel me? Like, say I was like 2021, you feel me? People be under me like my age now or Willie age. You feel me? And they'll feel like, you feel me? They feel like, man, who is this young boy telling me what to do? And they got the power. They got the power to get me up out of here if you want to. You know what I mean? Like, so like when you have that power, that's a tricky position because you don't want to abuse it, but then you don't want to come off as weak neither.
No, but that's a lot of people. Like I know one guy within my job, my work husband. He got to be our manager at one point, and he was like, "No, I wasn't over there at that." But I came over at the tail end of his managerial point of where I work at now. But it's another thing because like you work with these people every day. That's like me working with them every day, and all of a sudden now I'm manager. Mm-hmm. Y'all used to me being coworker, not manager. So you gotta. That's that struggle of now I'm the boss, so you can't. That get laziness ain't gonna fly.
I had a dude at when I used to work at UPS, right? Cool cat. His name was Bruce. I'll never forget this. White guy, older gentleman, cool as shit though. Mm-hmm. And they wanted both of us to be the manager at a certain time. But I ain't want to lead the union. So once you become a manager, you gotta lead the union. Right. You feel me? And I'm like, nah. I'm like, you feel me? I get my hours. Y'all already done got me in the hazmat position. So y'all already helping me out. I don't need that. You feel me? So Bruce was like, all right, I'll take it. Man, he was there he did that job for like 2 days. He said, nah. He said, send me back over there with them. However y'all do it. He's like, I can't do this. Because he was basically like you just said, Sonny. He was like, man, I've been working with these dudes for the past couple years, and now all of a sudden I'm on the other side. And y'all want me to scream at these guys and tell them to hustle? Like he was like, Clint, I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like 2 days. 2 days. He was like,
not 2 days though, dang.
2 days. He was like, man, send me back. Right. I'm like, damn, Bruce already? He was like, bro, I couldn't do it. He's like, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, some people don't have it in them to crack on their people, especially when you got respect for certain people or for certain roles in the company. You like, man, I know what they're going through. I can empathize. So it's a whole different ball game when you on that other side. And I mean, like my last supervisor, I know he probably will never be a manager because he just respect the people he work around too much to have to be and getting on their head. He want to be down in the trenches with us and he don't mind being a supervisor because then he can offer some protection for us. But past that, he's like, nah, he's like, I can't be the one that's like, oh, y'all ain't doing this and y'all ain't doing that. Like knowing why they ain't doing it because crap's going. So it's like it's not for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody to be the manager.
Nah. Yeah. Well, before we get up out of here, because we got like 10 minutes left.
Yep.
I wanted to get back to the exercising because do you say you be walking?
Yeah.
Do you map your walks or do you
Yes. I have an app that does it.
Yeah. So I use I use Google Fit, and with Google Fit, you can do either a tracked workout where you start the app and then you say I'm going to do this particular workout. And then it'll time you, or if you're walking or running or biking, it'll track where you're going and all that kind of stuff. Or you can even just do a auto-detected workout, which means that you basically just start working out. If it's something that's location-based, it'll normally pick up what you're doing. It'll either figure out that you're walking, running, biking, or if it recognizes, it's harder for it to do this, but sometimes if it recognizes that you're in water, it'll it'll assume you're swimming when you hit a certain speed for a certain amount of time while you're in the water area. So it'll detect that you're swimming. So it's but it's great for tracking that information. You also can track vitals such as your weight, your heart rate. If you have the watches will send that information. The Google Android Wear watches, they'll send that information straight to the app, and then you can watch your trends on how you're doing with your sleeping, with your walking and stuff, or your whatever your workout is. So for me, I do a 4 to 5 mile walk every day. Me and my son will go out. We go play Pokemon Go. So a lot of times when I'm doing that, it's not a fast walk for a lot of it, but for maybe about a mile and a half, 2 miles of it, it's a brisk walk. Because it'll be areas where the game doesn't really pick up anything, so we'll just walk normal on that. And then I also do an in-house the videos where you do like power walking with weights and stuff like that to do toning. That's a lot faster. Usually it's like a 12-minute mile, that kind of thing. Where when I'm outside, especially if I'm doing the Pokemon thing with him, it's like a 25-minute mile. Maybe as fast as an 18-minute, but when I do the in-home thing, it's like a 12-minute mile, which is like just under a jog when you're doing just under.
Yeah, I do a walk, light jog.
Mm-hmm.
I got the Map My Walk app.
Okay,
I got that one too.
Yeah, I got the Map My Walk app, and even when Sonny see me the other day on my bike, they do the same thing. Mm-hmm. When I'm on a bike, it switch it up, give me my levels for the bike. And the one thing I like about it, it got a little competition too.
Oh yeah, yep.
And so when you join it, they call it a challenge, 2020 challenge. So and then they have like little small challenges. I'm like ranked up in the 30%. I think right now I'm at, they do it in kilometers and miles, but I think I'm almost at 300 miles.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah. I had like my times when I'm walking, if I normally do a brisk walk, right? If I just speed walk, I can get to 16:45.
Okay.
It's like the lowest I got.
You're burning calories?
Huh?
You're burning calories?
No.
No, 16-minute. That's like a 16-minute walk. But that's but at that pace, that's really good. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah.
Now when I jog, like I don't, because I still jog and take more energy.
Right.
So I still can't jog the whole mile.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just it's too much. So like I jog in total, I'll probably jog like half the mile when I'm doing the jog. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the weirdest part is it come out to about the lowest time I got was 16:53. Okay. That's the lowest time I got with the jog. You know what I mean? And I felt like that's good because because like with me, with my lungs, like once I do that the jogging portion of it, and I stop and that adrenaline come down a little bit.
Right.
It's like, so it ain't no speed walking. It's like, hold on, let me catch my breath before I move any further. You know what I mean?
Now, does it show you your rate as it goes up and down throughout the mile or throughout the workout?
At the end,
yeah.
It'll
show you throughout the whole thing, like when you were doing maybe 8-9 minutes down to when you went to like 20-something minutes and back and forth, and then it showed you your average.
Yeah, because I do that when I walk to work. I put that app on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and then for me, it's kind of like I like it because it really is a challenge. You know what I mean? Because I compare it to previous years that I've been doing it. So I compare it to last year. And last year I started off, I was sick, real sick in the beginning of the year. So then, I compare it to how that time this year I was more healthier. I was able to get more walk. That's why my miles are higher this year. You know what I mean? Then I go back to 2018. 2018 was more, for some reason, I felt real good that year. My numbers that's when I lost all that weight too.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it shows me, it reminds me of my mentality too, of the workout. Because sometimes you get into a habit of when you're working out, I just got to work out, get it done, instead of getting out there and getting after it. Like I'm a best myself today. You know what I mean? That's hard to go out there every day and be like, man, I'm gonna be better than what I was yesterday. But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's fun though.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, my thing too is like you said, being able to see that progress. That's my thing. I like seeing that progress over time. Because when I first started off, it was like I was struggling to get that first 2.5, 3 miles in, and then started going further. We started getting to the 3.5, 4 miles. And the first day I ended up doing, I got close to 5 miles. I think it was like 4 miles, like 4.9 miles or something. And I looked at it and I was like, dang, like if I just went a little further, I could have got it. So I was determined that next week that I was going to get my 5 miles. And so ever since then, I've been doing 5s. Like today, I didn't do a full 5 because I just didn't have time. But I try my best to make time no matter what to do something. I actually talked to the Johnsons, Erica and Marlon, the ones that were on for the literacy show, the financial literacy show. So I talked to them about doing some additional life insurance because my current policy it ends in 2033, but I'm getting close to my mid 40s. And when you hit 50, you don't want to buy a life insurance policy at 50 in your 50s. It's just too exorbitant in price. So so this is about the time I need to re-up on a new policy so that way it protects me into my 70s. So I was talking to them about pricing out some insurance, and the prices they were giving me weren't bad, but I was looking at like if I was in better shape and had my vitals at a point where it wouldn't be really affecting my rate, it would go down significantly. So that's important to realize that even something like that can affect something as simple as just getting life insurance, being in good health. So definitely some good motivation, knowing that I could probably save myself some money too if I get myself together, stop eating all these cookies and stick to my workout. So
that's my problem. I'll be late night snacking. Yeah, man. I've been like I said, I added the biking to it. And that's been one of the best things I've done in a long time. Because like I said, I haven't been riding a bike in years, bro. Years. And just to get back out there and ride, like it's a certain freedom and like I almost forgot how much ground you could really cover riding a bike.
Quickly, right?
Quickly. Word up. Like before you knew it, know what I mean? Like you 5 miles in and it's only like 20 minutes. You like, whoa. You know what I mean? I was moving. And you didn't even realize it. It's definitely a workout though once you hit one of them hills. Hey, boy, ain't nothing to play with on that bike. You hit a hill.
So you still got it, huh? You still got it.
Nah, I ain't got it. I be having to hop off sometimes. You hit it when one of them steep hills. Right. Hop off that bike and walk that thing on up. I can't do it. It's about that time though.
No doubt. Yeah, it's time to wrap it up, Sonny. You okay over there, Sonny?
Yeah, I'm tired. My bad. I've been up. But I guess I gotta wrap the show.
You gotta wrap the show. You brought us in. You gotta take us home.
Well, thank you guys for listening and joining us tonight. Thank you for the comments, the shares, likes, comments, and subscribes. If you have not done so, do it. Willie, y'all want to give out your info?
No doubt. Well, go ahead, Clint.
Well, y'all already know where y'all can catch me on my blog at kingstruth.com. I'm gonna be posting more on there. I've slacking a little bit lately. You can hit me up on a King's Truth 609 on Instagram, at E Trenton Grooming on Twitter, and King's Truth on Snapchat. Holla at you, boy.
And you can get at me at Willie Styles everywhere. That's STYLEZ. I'm on IG, Twitter, TikTok, and Willie.Styles on TikTok until further notice. And I'm Willie.Styles on Snapchat. As always, I don't post, but I will stalk you over there. You can visit me at stylesradio.com, where I have posted all my hottest new tracks that I've been checking out. I actually checked out the new Juice WRLD, and it's not a bad album. Still a lot of stuff that just all sounds the same, but he's got some different stuff he's talking about. So definitely check that out. Rest in peace, Juice WRLD. Also, rest in peace, Pop Smoke. Definitely check out that new album as well. So be on the lookout for the tracks that I like, all the hot tracks, and WillieStyles.info for all my links.
And of course, it's your favorite girl, Sunny. I am Sunny_D, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Tickety Talk until further notice, as Willie has so generously said. Go to my blog. I definitely have been slacking, unreservedlyme.com, but I have been trying to post my little updates on my YouTube channel. So, I posted on my website, so you'll see it there. But thank you guys for joining tonight. Catch the playback on demand on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Blog Talk Radio, and of course you can catch the playbacks on Facebook and YouTube. So go ahead and do that. Like and subscribe, follow, do all that jazz to all of our social media sites. If you aren't doing it, I don't know why you're not. You watch us, follow us, subscribe, and like. What are you doing? I don't know.
And hit that notification bell on the YouTube. I'll see y'all.
So y'all can know when we go live. I didn't know. Now you know. Right. Figure it out.
And I want to give it. And before I go, I want to give a shout out, my condolences out to the Hamilton family. Winona, she laid her mom to rest earlier today. To a friend of the show, who was on the show. So we want to give a shout out to them. Much love.
Condolences to that family. Prayers.
Yes.
All right, guys.
See y'all in a couple days. Join the conversation.
Make sure y'all get the teespring.com/store/GFT Radio for the merch. Get on that.
ASAP.
ASAP.
Bye.
Holla.